Hey everybody!
Hey, what's going on everybody? You got Brian Hogman here from Mission 35 and Tobias, Rockstar Real Estate Agent. Oh, I shouldn't say that because you're with Remax and that's actually a company.
Yeah, Rockstar Realtor.
Yeah, okay, let's say that. Forget that
Rockstar
company,
Realtor.
But you are a
Remax
Rockstar
Escarpment.
Realtor. Totally. I'm super pumped for this episode because if you are looking to get your first house, and you're like in your 20s or 30s and you've been wanting to ask mom and dad for help or you're not sure how to do it, you want to listen to this. And conversely, if you're mom or dad,
you want to listen to this too.
Totally, because
find out why and how.
Totally. So we're really going to be talking about strategic family partnerships today.
Yeah. Right? And does it have to be mom and dad? Could it be cousin, uncle,
could
aunt?
Be uncle, Aunt Frida, could be
Grandpa.
Cousin Betty, totally, could be anybody, right? And I think you're really going to want to listen to this because don't take no for an answer until you give someone the opportunity to say yes.
There you go.
You know, and we wanted to talk about this, how the partnerships work, because there's two different types of partners, okay? Yep. There's the working partner,
active partner, and your financial partner or the money partner.
So what's a money partner?
Usually money partner is somebody like, we'll say mom and dad, they lived in their house for 20 years, they never moved, and they probably have a bunch of equity sitting in their property.
Right.
And it's not doing anything, it's safe. It's safe, but they're not investing it in anything, or they have a nest egg invested in something, and maybe they're not happy with standard bank returns.
What, those shitty 2%?
2% on my GIC.
My dad used to get excited about Canada Savings Bonds.
What's the other thing? Yeah, Canada Savings Bonds. Our Canada Savings Bonds have been doing great.
Anyway, and I think this is very true for that demographic. There's a lot of our parents' generation out there, people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, your grandpa, grandma, that, you know what, if they bought a house 15, 20 years ago, chances are they're sitting on quite a bit of equity.
Totally.
Right? So how do you access that? And better yet, how do you overcome the obstacles of asking them? Because I think a lot of the time the biggest obstacle can be the one in our head, and we're thinking like, I don't want to ask mom and dad for money.
Yes.
I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the money partner.
Yeah.
What's the working partner?
Working partner is usually someone trying to get into the market or has an idea that like I can buy this rental and I can live in half and rent out half, or I can just have a rental and stay at home. It depends how friendly your money partner is.
Totally, right?
Or they want to do a flip. Maybe they have a house and they're handy and they want to do a flip.
Yeah.
But they don't have enough money on their own to do it because that takes a lot of capital to be able to successfully do that. So I would say those are a couple different working partners.
And I think to put a frame around this, it's mom and dad are the money partner.
Yes.
And little Timmy, Joey, little Tobias, and Brian are the working partners,
there
right?
You go.
And I gotta say, you know, we've had mutual clients that have done this, right?
Yeah.
And who better to invest in than family?
Yeah.
Right? Like you see lots of families run businesses together. Like I cannot think of a better opportunity on how you can not only make money, but also see your family succeed.
Totally. Yeah.
Right?
Why do you want to do it? You know, number one is like for a financial benefit, but I think very much in line with that is to help your family succeed. And it goes both ways. The financial partner or money partner is also succeeding financially, not just helping them, and they're also receiving help in that their financial portfolio is gaining much better gains without them having to have so much risk or go it alone or manage a rental.
Yep.
So it goes both ways. It's a two-way street on every avenue.
I agree. Let's get strategic here for people. And I think, okay, so number one, let's start with, we'll go to parents after this.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll start with the sort of first-time investor, right?
Yeah.
You're 19, 20, 21, 22, whatever the case. You're
25 or 30. You might still live in your parents' basement.
Totally, right? That's demographics are showing, and that's okay. But let's change it, right? Now, you may have been working your ass off, and you've can't get pre-approved for a mortgage, right?
Yes.
Go to mom and dad. What can you say? Okay, I think the key number one is, and we talked about it, is being prepared.
Totally.
Right? So bring a plan, get educated, talk to a wicked mortgage broker or realtor, and put a plan together before you go to mom and dad. Don't go to
savvy investors.
Yes.
Because
totally.
you'll have a financial plan and a house buying plan, but you're going to get questions that are like, well, what about this or what about that?
Yep.
Whether it's tenant issues, non-performance of the product, or you get to the end of the cycle, or somebody needs money. Have answers for these questions so you don't come in get a question and can't answer it, because that's a
Totally.
easy street to, you're not prepared, we're not willing to invest with you.
Yeah.
Think of it like a job interview.
And think about this too. Your parents wiped your ass when you were little, okay? And I say that because they're going to look at you differently. I wiped my daughter's ass. But anyways, okay? But the reality is that you cannot get emotional in this conversation. If you're the kid or you're going after money, you don't want to pull the "you never listen to me" card, or you don't know what you know what? Yeah. You need to present it to mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, Uncle Fred, as if it's a good idea, and be prepared. Like Tobias said, if you react emotionally, you lose. Okay? You can't say "you never listen to me." If they come back with a question you don't know the answer to, you go, "You know what? I'm going to go contact Tobias and Brian, find out this answer, and go back to them," because this is your first business pitch.
Totally.
So let's talk about...
It's like you're on Dragon's Den.
Totally, with your parents and no cameras around, so you got no reason to lose. So what are different ways that the kids could pitch to mom and dad? What would be, let's say, the money partner aspect?
Yeah, I think easiest is scenario A, where they just can't qualify for a home. They don't have equity, they don't have something, and they need them to co-sign or pitch money to a down payment for them. I think both those, they come in with some numbers about renting versus buying, because hopefully they're renting. If they're not renting, they're in their parents' basement and they want them gone anyway. Totally. But renting versus buying, and the net worth of a renter versus a buyer over maybe, there's lots of infographics about the 25-year span of somebody, even if that renter's diligent in investing in the equity or stocks or something, how much more a homeowner will have at the end.
Cool.
That kind of numbers, and then also how-to on how they can get that with limited work on their behalf, and what they're going to get out of it as a benefit. Are they going to be...
what's in it for me? Mom and dad need to know what's in it for me, right? So don't go at it with the aspect of like, I'm your kid.
No.
Help me out. You know what? I would say parents will be much more responsive to you, and I'm saying, I know I did this with my dad, and I end up saying, hey, listen, Dad, I'm going to triple your Canada savings bond return. And I said, I'm going to, and he was getting paid
4.5%.
Yeah, he was getting paid, really. He was getting 2%, and I said, I'm going to pay you 6 or 8%. So if you actually come and say, listen, if you co-sign, I'll give you some of the equity within 5 years. Or if you co-sign, we can split the amount that it goes up in 5 years and the amount that the mortgage goes down by 5 years.
Totally.
If you don't need to give away that much, because you can negotiate with mom and dad, you can say, I'll pay you, if you're going to borrow from your line of credit at 3 or 4%, I'll pay you 10%. Sounds like a lot, but do the numbers. The difference between you getting into a house and not getting a house is worth way more than 10%. And now you're showing mom and dad, A, you're prepared, B, you've done the work, you know your options, and C, that you're not just a greedy SOB trying to take advantage of mom and dad. Right? I know you're not greedy SOBs, but just,
And then maybe scenario B is you can get a little house, but you want to get in sooner, and you want to get in better. You want to get a bigger, better house that has an in-law suite. And you say, I have the opportunity to buy a condo, or I have the opportunity with your help to buy a duplex. And I'll manage it and have numbers ready. Rents, timelines, vacancy rates, costs associated with it.
And the entrance and exit.
And the entrance
like a clearly defined, if mom and dad are helping, show them, and you can do this with a great mortgage broker and realtor. My shameless plugs.
There we go.
But you can have a defined exit, because that just shows mom and dad that, hey, I thought about how I'm going to get you into this, but I'm also thinking about how I'm going to get you out of this as well too.
And there's options for that. And I would say always have everything, once you agree upon something, make sure it's clear and in writing and everybody signs it, and there's no sort of stone unturned, no handshakes. Like there's no, well, when we talked about it, I thought you said this. There's no thinking. You want everything to be firm. And it could be at 5 years, you refi and they get their investment back, and they're still partners. They still have part of equity. Like, you can be very creative with it. We're sort of going through it quickly, I think. If it's something that you're interested in, I think you definitely need to reach out to us to help with a more specific plan, because every scenario is going to be different.
And I think, like you said, exit strategies can be refinancing, can be selling. And listen, you know what? We've had people that we've helped in the past that have said, hey, mom and dad, I know you want me out, but tell you what, buy a house with me because I can't qualify right now and I don't want to rent. I'm going to stay at home for another year, and then at the end of the year, we'll sell the property. Or 2 years from now, and little Timmy or Joey, Timmy's really popular. I don't know why I use Timmy all the time, but little Timmy, if you're out there, call me. But little Timmy now is going to build up equity. Now he's going to have that nest egg. Maybe he's going to have that extra 20, 30, 40K available by mom and dad, uncle, grandma helping him out.
Uncle, grandma.
Whatever. We live in the millennials.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be an uncle, grandma.
And I think that, as the working partner, the active partner, another thing is no matter, I feel like no matter what you do in the ever expanding real estate market we're in, things are just increasing too fast. It's very difficult to save to keep up with the market, let alone save up enough to, in addition, save a down payment on your own.
And I think you nailed it with the working partner too, because if you don't have the money, the other thing you say to mom and dad is say, listen, I got this. If there's a problem, I get the phone calls. If the toilet's plugged, I'll get the call. I'll call the plumber. Mom, dad, grandma, uncle, okay? You're not going to get woken up because I promise I'm going to take care of it. Here's my list of contacts, resources in case anything goes wrong. And again, the more preparation that you have, the better likelihood of you getting through that, right? So let's talk about mom and dad. If you're out there, you listen to the kids pitch now. So mom and dad now, what are their fears, do you think? What's mom and dad's fears that why they wouldn't want to use their equity to invest in their kids?
I think everybody's fear is, what if something goes wrong and then we have all this risk? There's the risk word gets thrown around a lot. It's very risky to co-sign for a mortgage. It's very risky to do that. And if you ask me, I would say that there's very limited or no risk, because we'll pitch a scenario. You buy a house, it's being rented, and Timmy lives upstairs, and Timmy hasn't had the tenant in the basement paying his rent on time. So you're out a few months rent. There's a process for removing these people from the property if they're not paying. And then you say, okay, I hate this. We have to get rid of the house. What's the risk there? What's your exposure? You have the equities in the property that you spent. The property, if it's been a year, has been paid down. The mortgage amount owing has been paid down, so you actually owe less than you borrowed. And then typically or likely, the property has gone up in value. So now the value's gone up, the mortgage or loan has gone down, and you're going to sell the property because you don't like the partnership. And that should be part of your exit plan if that happens to be something. You made money. Or what's the risk? Or you broke even. What's the risk? I don't think there's risk. And then you can tell Timmy, we tried it and you didn't hold up your end of the bargain and it didn't work. I think that there's, necessary reality to it that maybe it may not work. But chances are, if you go in with a plan and a strategy and Timmy's on board.
Well, I would say on that part too, if mom and dad, if you're really concerned about it, don't put the house in Timmy's name, put it in your own name. And then you can say, listen, you know what? I've got 100% control. It's my rental property, not yours. You're going to manage it. You got to prove yourself, blah, blah, blah. Whatever that security blanket is, you don't need Timmy's permission to sell the house.
No, you don't.
Because if you put it all in your name, you can do it on your own. And I'm going to raise one point here because...
And even if Timmy says, that's not fair because I'm doing this and that, I want 50% ownership still, or whatever it might be, you can have a trust agreement that after a certain number of years of success, that the agreement, the ownership will change.
Well, I think it's prudent, actually. I remember my dad used to do this. That was, because I got in a lot of shit and got arrested, but that's a whole other context, okay? But we had a contract. And I remember my dad used this for sort of behavioral issues, but I had to read and to have a contract with them every year. You could say, listen, we're going to have a contract. We're going to have KPIs, key performance indicators, to say, listen, if ABC is met at the end of every year, if mom and dad hold title, Timmy's the operating partner. Timmy, you said you would do A, B, C. It's an unemotional conversation. If you can take emotion out of it, because dealing with family can be emotional, but you make a checklist and say, hey, you're going to make sure the tenants are taken care of, rent received on time, toilet plunge, light bulbs change, all this stuff. And if that's done, you earn your maybe
you earn your keep.
Earn your keep, or you're at 10% ownership.
Yeah.
Depending, you can structure this deal in so many different ways, depending on how much fear or risk you see with investing in your kids, right?
And comes back to write it down. Everything, you want to write it all down.
Clear expectations.
And it can be very different types of partnerships too.
Yeah.
Like it can be equity partners. You can be silent partners that just invest. You're not on title.
Yeah.
You can be full equity, like we talked about.
Or you could even be, there might be, like, listen, you might have an amazing kid here, mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, that has the down payment saved up because they've been a prudent saver.
Yes.
But maybe they just started as a commission-based mortgage agent or commission-based real estate agent. Or
any self-employed.
And they don't qualify, but they have great credit, and maybe they just need you to co-sign. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't need any money, they just need your signature for 2 years.
Yeah.
And maybe they're gonna pay you for that signature for 2 years.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I would say one of the biggest risks that I see, talking to you, the biggest risk is the risk of not doing it. Okay? The risk of, and being, my daughter's only 3 right now, so she's got big shoes to fill. Okay? But the risk of not doing it, I would wager to see your kid, family member, not succeed.
Yeah.
The risk of them being like, oh man, 4 or 5 years from now being like, God damn it, I wish I bought a house 5 years ago, mom, dad, now it's so expensive I can't. And you sitting there going, shit, I wish I listened to that podcast I heard like 2-3 years ago and helped them, because now it's $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 more. It's even tougher, because the biggest, from the families that we've both helped, the biggest win for the dad specifically is seeing the kid succeed. Like, that's better than any amount of money. And that's the biggest feedback we've always gotten.
And I was gonna say, we didn't even get to that. Yeah, you get financial gain, and you get to do something together, but seeing family do better and succeed and go beyond where they would have been without your help is the most gratifying of anything.
I think any parent wants to see their kids do better than they did. And this, if you're wondering, how do I do that? Do this. Stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
And do what Nike does. Just do it, right? I think that's awesome. Well, you know what? Beautiful. If you have any questions about this or want more information, please reach out to Tobias Smulders from Remax Escarpment or myself at Mission 35, because we are so, this is the number one way to increase your wealth. It really is.
There is no better way.
Right? And to see families do it, I'm telling you, it makes me feel good. I know it makes you feel good too. Totally. It's the best thing in the world. So if you want to know how to do it, it's not hard. We can help.
And we'll say, we speak from experience.
Totally.
We have it. I've helped my brother, my father.
Yeah.
We've done lots of stuff together, and we can speak from experience. We're not just here saying this is how you can do it, doing plugs. It's from experience, and we feel the gratification from being able to help somebody.
Totally. And there's nothing better than helping families succeed too. Cool?
Yes.
Make this a fabulous day. See you later.